Hello, I'm Valerie McLennan. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you may be. I hope you're well. This is my spiritual channel, Valerie Mac, Scottish, spiritual, and very funny. Allegedly. If you've been following me a while, thank you very much, and I hope you continue to follow me through 2026. And if you're a new listener, I know I do have new listeners, welcome. And I hope you continue to listen. And if you could kindly revert back and listen to previous podcasts. And can I ask you to please let your friends know about my channel? Could you let your friends know, your colleagues, whoever is there, the person on the train, anywhere, in the street? Could you kindly direct them to my YouTube channel? That'd be greatly appreciated. I will, thanking you in advance. Now, as I said previously, the intention behind the channel is just to give you my beliefs regarding why we're here on earth, tools that I've learned over the years. I've always been on this path, but as like anything in life, you grow, you stumble, you fall, you can pick yourself back up. The key is that you get back onto the path. The realisation that you don't allow other people to take you off your path, on the spiritual path, and all of the above. I'm teaching it from my own personal beliefs, as I said. All I ask you to do is listen. And if you feel it's something, if it registers with you and you think, that is what I need, take the action, take the first step, like anything you're going to do, even if it's a hobby, if it's a career choice, if it's a relationship, whatever it is, you've got to take that first step. If you don't take the first step, even on the spiritual path, if you just think about it and you don't actually take an action with anything in your life, it is only a thought. How sad is that? You might be thinking all of the yes, I will, tomorrow, que sera, I know. Until you actually take even that small step towards this path, ideally, and because it's a spiritual channel, I'm focusing on this aspect. Until you take the first step, whether you've been on this path for years, whether it's a completely new concept, whether you've been on and, as I said, fallen off, wherever you are on this path, it doesn't matter. Just erase that from your mind. You don't have to think, well, I looked at this previously, but, or I've not been on there. I'm at this age now, but, people find excuses for everything. Do you realise the first step that you take in anything, especially on this path, it has the potential to change many areas of your life, especially regarding confidence, stress, anxiety, fear, panic. Where can you go to shop and buy that? Do tell, can you go to shop and buy that? Yes. Well, this is a path you should be looking at. That's all I'm saying. Now, last year, if you're a new listener, someone had told me a little funny story. I know. And I casually thought, I'm doing a podcast. I'll just mention it. I know. Ever since, I feel now obligated. I do. Obligated and under pressure. Every time I deliver a podcast to give a funny story, a joke, something. I know. Try being me. Now, this is the reason Valerie Mac, Scottish, spiritual, and very funny. Allegedly. So yes, I have. This is a Friday. It's actually a Friday afternoon. I normally record this. I know you care. I normally record this in the evening. But at the moment, it's about 3:00 in an afternoon. I know. How do you think I feel? Now, wherever you are, as I said, whether it's morning, afternoon, I don't even know if it's today, if you're listening to this, if you're listening to it tomorrow. You're obviously not listening to it yesterday. I figured that out because I'm only recording it today. Now, that's ridiculous. I don't. But anyway, I'm going to give you this couple of jokes. Now, like ever, and like every day, there is a life lesson at the end. So I'll give you the funny story, get you into a false sense of security. If you only want to listen to the funny story and say goodbye, you leave at that point. But I hesitate to say, you should stay until the end. The life lesson is what you need, in my opinion only. So if you kindly listen after the jokes, that'd be wonderful. And if you could like and subscribe, all of that stuff takes a second out of your life. I know. Honestly. Anyway, I'll do this. Couple of jokes. One I'd heard many, many years ago, but I was reminded of it yesterday. And another one I only heard a couple of days ago. I know. And I thought, share it if you're having a, challenging day. On a serious point, I'll get back to that very briefly. I've met people even in the last couple of weeks who have had curveballs like no other. Now, I keep mentioning this in my podcasts over the months and over the years, and I've said, I don't say that to be depressing. Each and every one of us will have a curveball, that we'll have to face a challenge, some small challenges, others like mountains. This path has saved me on so many occasions. and especially as I'm getting more mature in my years, as I'm going through life, the realisation that you can't control what other people are doing is like a freedom. You can only do the best you do. And, whatever it is, you do the best you do. How others respond is there. I don't like karma, but whatever, each and every one of us, whatever we're doing is if you want to use that word karma, we reap what we sow. I will reap what I sow with my words, my actions. You the same, others the same, in my belief. Now, this is what I'm saying. Even in the last few weeks, I've been talking about this curveball for months, and I keep saying the same thing, is to remind you, each and every one of us in life will have to face challenges that come out of the blue, many times out of the blue. Where is your strength going to come from? Now, this is an easy way. Are you going to suddenly look to your partner? Are you going to suddenly look to the person beside you? Are you going to suddenly look for a friend? If it's out with yourself, you will struggle. You, on this path, the whole idea and the whole concept and the key of it is to remind yourself that you're more powerful than you realise, and to look within yourself. Other people then are a bonus. If you're doing it the other way around and the other people are your strength. Can you imagine in life how many situations you will stay in and put up with? Because those people in your mind are your strength. Now that in itself is a very negative aspect. If you realise the power you have within yourself and remove the fear and build up from the inside, it builds your confidence, and you actually don't stand any nonsense because you realise the importance of every thought you have and every decision you make and every word that you're speaking. You will experience at some time in your life. This is the point I try and make. If you're looking at another human being, a partner, a colleague, a friend, as being your strength, if anything happens, I'll just turn to them. What if they're not there? What if, for whatever reason, those people are not there? What then? You, in my opinion, have to work. This is the whole purpose of self-development, spiritual growth, personal development. You have got to get yourself sorted from your mind, your body, your spirit. Now, if you reach that level, it doesn't happen overnight. I've been doing this for years. And what you do find is, as you're trying to stay on this path, the challenges will keep coming along, and you'll find that you're meeting the most annoying people on earth. People, it's as if people are suddenly put in your path to push you, and to push you. It's how you're going to respond. Many of us, myself included, have been pushed completely off my path over the years through other people, other people's actions. But then as long as you get back on and you remember what you're supposed to be doing, you start to build yourself back up, and you don't allow those situations in your mind, and you don't allow those situations to affect you. It's a freedom you will never buy in a shop. And the realisation, once you start to retrain your mind, and once you realise planet Earth, spiritual growth, you are not able to do anything on behalf of another person. You're here to build yourself up. That's the point I want to make. As I said, many people have told me, even in the last few weeks, they've been hit with real curveballs, life-changing. Now, those situations, who are you going to look to? Who are you going to do? Are you going to have enough in your own tank to get you through? Or are you going to crumble? That's only two choices either of us have. Now, that's where I'm going after this. That's a life lesson I will be giving you after my jokes. I'm going to give you two little jokes. They're not jokes at all. What are you talking about? I know, they're little stories, and I'll give you them. And the life lesson, I will be reminding you about the, maybe misunderstandings in life. What if you've misunderstood the whole reason you're here? Oh no, how confusing is that? Right, are you sitting down? Get a pen. You might need a pen shortly. You will need a pen shortly. If you're new, I'll be giving you my website. Can you get a pen and a piece of paper, please? Thank you very much. If you could find it, is it in the drawer? Have you got a pen? Who on earth has a pen in 2026? Hoping you have one. Could you have one? Find a pen. You will need it after my jokes. Thank you. Now, first one's a bit longer story. Second one, a little bit shorter. Thank you. You're sitting comfortably. I shall begin. An old-fashioned lady was going to go to a campsite. I heard this years ago. I thought it was quite funny. An old-fashioned lady was going to go to a campsite, but she was wondering, in the quiet of her own mind, if it had a toilet on the campsite. So she was decided that she was going to write a letter to the campsite owner and ask, casually, does the facilities have maybe, a toilet? But as she put she had a pen, so pleased. As she put her pen to the paper, she suddenly realised she didn't want to write the word toilet. She thought that doesn't sound very polite in the manner I'm used to discussing it in my letters. I don't want to say, do you have a toilet? It doesn't sound very nice. So she was pondering in her mind and she thought, will I call it, do you have a bathroom commode? And she thought, no, that sounds even worse. I'm not saying toilet and I'm not saying bathroom commode. I would faint if my pen was to write toilet or bathroom. I'm ad-libbing now. If my pen was going to write toilet or bathroom commode. Indeed, my pen will not put that on this paper. No, it won't. So she sat back down and she thought, what can I ask? How can I say, do you have a toilet on the campsite without saying toilet? And then she had a flash of inspiration. I will call it the BC. The BC. She was trying to be polite. So she simply wrote, does the campground have its own BC? Question mark. So the campsite owner received a said letter and he's reading it and he thought, what on earth is a BC? I know, like you would. So he was going round all the other staff and he said, does anyone know what's a BC? This lady's coming to the campsite, she doesn't know what a BC. What's a BC? Well, here we go, misunderstandings. Someone said, it'll be the Baptist church. Indeed it will. Yes, she was wanting a toilet, but they're away onto the Baptist church. I know. So the owner said, dear madam, I am pleased to inform you the BC is located 9 miles north of the campground, capable of seating 250 people. Can you imagine her wee face? Can you imagine her wee face? Capable of seating 250 people. In fact, the first time you come along to our campground, many of the people here will be pleased to go with you to the BC, and for the first time, they will be pleased to sit with you. Thank you from the campsite manager. I don't think she went to that campsite. She indeed 250 of them. You will not come and sit me with your sandwiches in the toilet. I'm not going there. Thank you. I'm glad I asked. Thank you. I thought it was quite funny. That's what I mean. Misunderstandings. She thought BC was toilet. They thought it was a church. 200 people. I know. I thought it was quite funny. Did you? Are you laughing? Yes. This is my second one. It's not quite as long-winded. That one was longer than that. Actually, I abbreviated it within an inch of its life. Thank you. There's another woman, and she's going on a journey. Everyone's on the go just now, on my jokes, stories, whatever they are. There was a woman going on a journey, and she decided she'd wait for the train, the plane, or whatever it was, on her little seat. Was it a little seat? I don't know. It was a little seat. So she decided she was going to go and buy a book. And I see, I'm always telling you, buy a book. Anyway, she was going to buy a book, and she decided to buy a small packet of biscuits. A woman of my own can't remember the word. Anyway, so she sat down, waiting on her chair for the train, plane, whatever it was, with her book and her small packet of biscuits in her bag. So she started reading her book, and then she leaned over and she'd taken one of her biscuits. And out the side of her eye, she could see a man sitting next to her waiting. He was waiting for the same train, bus, plane, whatever it was. And he leaned over and he picked one of the biscuits and started eating the biscuit. She was thinking, a cheek. Anyway, so she carried on reading her book. And a little while later, she leaned over and she reached for another biscuit. And a little bit later, he reached his hand out and he had the second biscuit. She's thinking, I'm fuming. So anyway, this went on. And then she was just going through the book. And then all of a sudden, he leaned his hand over and he broke the last biscuit in half. That's a funny packet of biscuits. Only had a few. I said that at the beginning. It was a small packet. Thank you. So he leaned over and he cut the last biscuit in half, ate half and handed her the other half. So in shock and dismay, she took the biscuit, half of her own biscuit, she thought. And she ate the biscuit. Train, plane, bus, whatever it was, appeared. And she put her book in her bag, didn't even look at the man, thought, disgusted with him, eating my biscuits. Good cheek. Honestly, no man, there's some people. That's embarrassing. Imagine sitting and doing that. And off she didn't even look at him. She went away, put her book in her bag, went to put the book into her bag and found her full packet of biscuits. Yes, indeed. She'd been eating his biscuits. Her unopened packet of biscuits was still in her handbag. She had been eating his biscuits. She'd been eating his biscuits. And she went away. She didn't even say bye, nothing. She didn't even say thank you because she thought she was eating her own biscuits. He was eating his. I know. He must have gone away thinking, how rude. Sitting there eating my biscuits. I even gave her half my last one. She didn't even say bye. Didn't say cheerio. Nothing. How rude. Anyway, that was it. Misunderstandings. That was what I said at the beginning. The toilet. She wanted a toilet. They were talking about the church. I know. He was wanting a biscuit. She was eating his own biscuits. Thought he was being nice, giving her half. She went away in a huff, thinking how rude. Didn't even say cheerio. Ate all his biscuits and she still had her own biscuits in her bag. Misunderstandings in life. Thank you. Now, you're waiting for my life lesson. Are you leaving me at this point? Are you? Are you leaving on a jet plane? Are you? I think that's what she was waiting on with her biscuits. Anyway, where was I going now? Oh, before I do the life, I sometimes do this. If you're a new listener, I tend to forget to give you the website. I've got a pen. That woman had a pen, the one that was writing. She even had paper, the one that was writing to the campground. Have you a pen? Thank you. www.speakout.uk and put Valerie McLennan, Valerie McLennan in the search bar. And you'll find out who I am. And if you find out, can you please let me know? Thank you. Now, the life lesson, just very briefly, I'm at 16 minutes. I try and keep this to approximately 20 minutes. Admittedly, sometimes it's 25. What can I say? Now, misunderstandings, I'll stick with that because that was my story. Did you notice? I don't just throw this in randomly. It was a misunderstanding about the toilet in the church. Oh, no. It was a misunderstanding about him eating his biscuits, thinking it was her. I know. What if, this is my question, and keep your pen if you like, what if everything you think is true about life? Oh, that's very deep, I know. What if everything that you think to this second in life, and you're adamant about life, is not true? I know, I'm saying that in whisper in case you get shocked. What if it's not true? There are so many people that I know, and that's not quite true. There's a few people I know, especially on this path, who speak in a way that nobody else is. And, if you have an opinion, it's wrong. It does. If you have an opinion, it's wrong. If it differs from their opinion. Now, I find that very challenging. There's many things in life I find quite challenging. But what I don't like is if people are teaching this topic and it's their way or the highway and they won't move. Now, I always say, you, me, or whoever down the road, until we take our last gasp, we won't be completely and utterly definite about what's it all about. Anyway, what we can do in the meantime is teach what we truly in our heart believe is true. We can truly, if you've been on this path, many, many years, which I don't like saying too many because that makes me sound quite old. But I've been on this path since I was very young, as far back as I can remember. I was always, even as a very, very young girl, I can remember looking at life through different eyes. I've told you before, well, if you're a new listener, you've not heard me before. I remember my mother even saying, how do you know these things? I just assumed everyone knew. And most people in this path would more than likely, I'm guessing, say the same thing. It's just a feeling. I just felt to speak for myself. That's the best, safest way to do it. I always thought everyone was aware of the same types of feelings or sense, whatever it was that I had about life. I was only shocked and surprised when people were kind of looking at me when I was talking about this topic, etc., through my life. And, many, many people would say, how on earth? I didn't think of it that way. Didn't think of it this. This is the whole point of the channel. It's just to make you think. Some people have never, ever considered this path. I know, and to pat myself on the back, which I don't really like doing. In all honesty, people have said the way I teach it or the way I speak, I don't know if it's because I kind of do it in a kind of natural way. People are saying they've grasped this now more than they had in their whole lifetime because they were taught in a very strict, very rigid kind of way. And many people have said they felt it was all very judgmental. You were never good enough. You were always here. It was a judgmental. The God was always a very judgmental. So they didn't want to look at it. They were thinking life is challenging enough without, being kind of spoken to as if you were never good enough. This is the way now. I'm telling you what people have told me over the years. And so I'm trying to take that away. I don't believe that's why we're here. I believe if you look at it in a more natural, relaxed way, This is what I said at the beginning. Some people teach it in a way that it's their way, the highway, and they won't listen to other ways of teaching. And it tends to maybe be people that are a bit older now and they've lived this path for many years. This is my point. What if you've misunderstood something along the way? And you're just knocking everyone else off their path because you're closing the conversation down? That's it. And so other people aren't allowed an opinion, other people aren't allowed their say. No, you're teaching it, and that's it. I don't want to discuss it anymore. Subject closed. What if you're wrong? What if you've misunderstood? You're taking people completely off their spiritual path. Maybe the other people that are not even on this path, or they're just looking at it, they might have looking through clearer eyes. They might have a better understanding. They just didn't really know what it was. Now, back to when I was a young child, I've always been on this path. As I said, over the years, sometimes I heard this, someone saying this years ago, and I thought, but in hindsight, you do look, the further you move along this path, it's as if people are deliberately getting put into your path with great momentum and great aplomb to try and really upset and annoy every part of your being. Do you know what I mean? You're suddenly meeting people and you're looking. I do, over the last number of years, I've looked at people that I've known for years as if I don't even know them anymore. Do you know that you don't recognise them? Because just people have changed so much, situations have changed so much, and you're kind of looking as if they have just dropped in from space. But sometimes when you're on this path, you're obviously, I don't like the word tested, but a lot of the time, if this was just going to be very smooth, we would slide in here as a baby. As I keep saying, when did you ever see a little baby and think, look at that terrified little face? Generalising. Majority of the time you look at a little baby and it's so happy, giggly, looking at the world through its, big eyes staring into the world, looking at everything, full of love and full of, move a few years along the line and what's happening? What's happened to everyone? People, and then if you allow bitterness and resentment, everything just to hang on you, you're wearing it like a coat, walking along with all this resentment and anger. Flip your mind back to when you were a young child, before any of this stuff, before life got in the way, before people got in the way, before human beings treated you poorly, before this and before that. Think back to that baby. I now look today and think, what's happened? I know. And you'll be saying, I'm exhausted. Well, no wonder. If you're way down, if you're way down, like wearing like a leaded coat, going around full of angst, and so we meet people on this path. Trust me, I'm not in a cloud, and it's not as if people look at me and think she's on that spiritual path. Let's be nice to her now. No, indeed. If only. No. What you do find, and many people on this path will tell you, you suddenly meet people as if they're deliberately placed there to try and really push you, annoy you, whatever it is. But when you're on here, you've got the gifts now that you realise you're only responsible for yourself. You can't control how other people respond to you. You haven't got the power over other people. You've just got to kind of be yourself, get your mind sorted, and allow other people to do their own thing. We will each and every single one of us reap what we sow. Reap what we sow. What you don't want to do, and many of us have been carried over, over the years, every one of us fall into this trap, emotional trap. You don't want to take the negativity and all of that stuff, toxic stuff, from other people as if it was part of you and part of your life, because there are many people in life who would love to shake that onto you. If that's, if they're immersed in that world, they want a friend in you to be in the same atmosphere. No, thank you, but I decline. This is a part about spirituality. You're supposed to feel light and free and freedom of choice, make your own choices. You've been given the gift to think in your own mind, to speak your own words, to take your own actions. If you're allowing, you've got two choices. You can either find your way on this path or you can stick in the atmosphere. Many people have said to me, but I'm surrounded by people who are negative and they wouldn't say a nice word if they were paid a fortune to do so. They will criticise, they will pull you down. Well, we're all on this earth. People will criticise quicker than compliment, which is a sad place to be. But you often find that people like that are not happy within themselves. So what you're doing there, if they're not happy, they're dishing out negativity. Are you just going to say thank you and stick that on yourself like a badge? No, you don't. What you need to do is just, like a boomerang, just ignore it, and then the words go back to the person. Where if they're acting in a negative way, if they're acting in an offhand, whatever it is they're doing, each and every one of us will experience the whatever you're doing for other people, you'll experience in your own life. Now, that's a key message, because there's so many people say to me, but I'm in an atmosphere of that all the time, whether it's at home, whether it's at work, wherever they are. Everyone's negative, everyone's toxic, everyone's, nobody seems to be happy with anyone. Everyone's pulling everything. Well, you've got two choices. You just become like them. You stick with them. You stay in that atmosphere. You let all of that stick to you. Or you say, I don't care what you're all doing. I'm an individual. I'm on planet Earth. I'm only a little tiny speck. We're all, each and every one is a little tiny speck on the universe. Keep in your mind, this is my belief, many people are put into your life deliberately in those circumstances. I don't like that word testing, but to see how you're going to react. You've got two choices. Are you just going to take their words and take it as part of you? Are you going to believe their negativity? Are you going to take that all on board and say, thank you very much? Oh, yes, I suppose I am that. Oh, yes, I suppose you. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Yeah. Any other negativity? Yes, dish it out. Thank you. Or are you just going to think, that's only their words? They're only human beings. Each and every one of us are only a human being. Their opinion doesn't matter. You're putting too much emphasis on a fellow human being if you're allowing other people in the workplace, in your house, wherever you are. If they have the power, if another human being has the power to ruin your day emotionally, you really need to look at what's going on in your mind. When did you go from that little baby, little smiling baby, to allowing yourself to live in a world where other people are controlling with their words how you feel about yourself, where you are? They've got the power to ruin your day with words. Think about it. Think of the ridiculousness of this. It's words. It's only words. I know. Fred, I've forgotten that song. I just get back to it. It's only words. What you're doing is attaching truth to their words. So if they're speaking words out of their mouth, you're taking that as, that's true, that's me, all the negative, yes, thank you very much. It's only energy. Words are only energy. You are quite capable of training your mind into not, from this second forward, allowing negativity into your mind, not allowing other people to have the power to ruin your day. I'm going to leave you with that message today. You've got two choices, as do I. You can either believe in fear or you can believe in trust on this path, the spiritual path. You allow fear or you allow trust. If you're going to keep walking this path and you're keeping in the circle of people who don't have a nice word to say, who are just going to pull you down emotionally, can you imagine the challenge that is going to be for you to pull yourself out and get yourself on another path? Something else, someone else said to me, and I mentioned it, I think it was last week, they were saying, I know, but they were interested in this path, but they feel because they're surrounded by people who are negative, it'll be very challenging for them, because everyone else why are you going to let other people's negativity ruin your life moving forward? You be the one that changes you. And if they're still living that life, you, in the future, if you wanted to, can pull them up. If they're willing to stay down there in the pit, full of resentment, angst and stress, you just have to leave them there. There's nothing you can do. You can either join them in the pit of stress and negativity, or you can get yourself from today, as I said previously, if you've got an A4 pad, get yourself a new page today. Every single day on planet Earth is a new page. You can say, oh, I'm this age, I'm that age, I'm whatever it is, I'm to this, I'm to that. That's just an excuse. Let me tell you, that is an excuse. This path is not easy. You've got to be stubborn, you've got to have courage, and you've got to be determined. That the most important thing on your path on earth is you come into earth as that little baby, each and every one of us, and we'll go out the other end, wherever it is. We don't know the day, the time, the hour. We'll go out the other end. But you want yourself to be the best version of yourself, not the worst, as you're going out. You want to be able to look back, in my opinion, and think, right, okay, that was a tough time. That was a challenging time. This time I'd met, people that were trying this, doing that, whatever it was. But you can look back where you've grown and you've moved forward. If they're still stuck there, there's not a thing you can do. But at least when you reach the end of the journey, you can look back. This is what it's, in my opinion, that's why we're here. Spiritual growth and personal growth. Personal growth has nothing to do with another human being. personal growth within yourself. Don't let other people ruin your life. Don't let other people hold you back. Don't let lack of confidence. Don't let this, don't let that. You've got to be stubborn. You've got to be determined. You're talking about your life. It's not something trivial. Your mind, your body, and your spirit are all connected. What's going on in your mind will slip into your health, and etc., etc. Mind, body, spirit. Your words are connected. Your mind, your word, what's the thought? Your thoughts, can get that. Your thoughts in your mind are connected to the words that's leaving your mouth. They will slip down into your health, good or bad, and the rest is history. You want to stop the negativity. The most crucial part is to control your mind. Stop the negativity in your mind, because from your mind, it drops to your words, into your health. The key is catch it at the top when it's in your thoughts. You've got two choices: live in fear or live in trust. Think of the importance. Whatever's going on in your mind today, it's impossible for those thoughts to be in your mind today and not come out your words today, tomorrow, next week. It's impossible, because your mind, whatever you're allowing in your mind, the thoughts that you're allowing in your thoughts to remain in your mind becomes your belief system about yourself. So all those negative thoughts that go around your mind, don't think it's something trivial. Or I've been here for years, I'll no change now. Well, just you think all of those negative thoughts that you're allowing to stay rent-free in your mind over the years has or will become your belief system about yourself. And when it's your belief system, what happens then? It drops to your health, mind, body, spirit. So if you don't like all that negativity, you've got to start at the top. You've got to, clear your mind and start looking at a new way forward. Thank you very much. www.speakout.uk. Valerie McLennan. Here, I'm giving you an email. Thank you. If you're interested in any talks moving forward, it's just my name, Valerie.McLennan, VALERIE.McLennansy, S for Sierra, Y for Yankee, or yellow, whatever, at gmail.com. Valerie.McLennan@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. Please really, really consider it, because it has saved my life so many times over the years. Thank you, and I'll be back no doubt, on Monday. Have a good weekend. The sun is supposed to shine this weekend. I'm based in Scotland. Are you Scottish? I am. It's supposed to be nice Saturday, Sunday, allegedly. So have a good weekend. I'll be back on a Monday. Please take this seriously, and don't leave it till tomorrow. Start it today. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye for now. Look after each other.